Hello, welcome back to day 2 of the mini course, how to set up your own business. I hope you've been, getting some valuable information from what we've been doing. Did you watch day 1's video? If not, you need to go back and, take a look at the video so that you could gain 1 or 2 things, and then we move ahead into day 2. In day 1, we talked about how to get your business ideas. We talked about your viability, the viability of your idea, checking it out before you go full swing. We also talked about your USP, your unique selling proposition, what makes you stand out from the competition. We talked about your 60-second elevator pitch. Some people have already shared their pitch, in the WhatsApp group, and it's been fun. If you've not done so, you need to do so. Participate as much as you can. And then we talked about your skill sets, the skills you can bring to the table so that you know the ones that you should, you can delegate to other people that know how to do it best. So day 2, we want to talk about several things. We want to talk about your target audience, who is in your target audience. We want to talk about getting your first 100 paying clients, so that you don't start a business and in so many years you've not turned, a profit. Businesses are built because you want to, except it's an NGO, because you want to make a profit. So we want to talk about the ways of getting your first 100 clients. So at the end of day 2, we'll talk about our masterclass, how to set up your own business masterclass. It starts on Monday, the 27th of March. That's a typo in there. I didn't see that on time. So who is your target audience? I would like to remove my face from the video so that we could concentrate on the material. Okay, so who is your target audience? Who do you help? That's the question, you want to really take some time to think about, because it would help you with your marketing design, your message, your branding, and so on. For instance, if your target audience are women that have children that are under 30, if you have a promotion for them, then the color pink should show somewhere there. There should be a bit of feminine colors, pink, red, purple, yellow, and so on. So that's just by the side. But then who do you help? You need to really write it down. If you answer everyone, then you're not targeting right. You should be crystal clear on the name of the person you help, on their age, their company type, their educational levels, their hobbies, their location, their monthly income, of that your ideal client. You need to know, can they afford my service? Can they afford my service? So those are the things you need to know. We'll learn more about this, in the masterclass. But for now, you need to just sit down with a pen and paper and think to yourself, who is my target audience? Because your target audience is broad, but if you can stream it down to who your ideal client is, then it becomes really targeted, and then you're able to get the right person to buy your service or product. When you've identified your target audience, the next thing to look out for is, what problems can you solve for clients? Ask yourself these questions. What is my target audience pain point? So that's your action step, your first action step. How can you do this? You can carry out surveys. Like we talked about earlier, we have surveymonkey.com, typeform.com. Create a survey. Questions that you could ask them to find out what their problems are. Be intentional with communities and groups you join. Make sure you're joining the group where your target audience can also come in, and what do you do there? You listen in and record the most painful questions they have and need solutions to. That means you're not just there to chat, you're there to, become like a detective for your business to find out, okay, what are the problems these people have? What are they currently facing? Who solves their problem? Does this person solve it like they would want them to? So those are the questions you need to find out for your target audience pain points. You can share that in the WhatsApp group as well. Then the next one is to gather market intelligence, a broader view. You could make use of the Google Keyword Planner. If you go to google.com and type Google Keyword Planner, you can use it to check for questions that people usually ask about your topic, or about what you're providing. So these are great places to start from. I'm sure you've taken time somewhere to, go to Google to say, okay, Google, what can I do to lose weight? And then you will find so many things. In case you're into, fitness or weight loss or whatever, you'll find several types of questions people are asking. And then you make sure you create something that will tackle, those questions. Then what tools do you need to start a business? In fact, to start a business in 2017 is not like starting a business in 1983. I think you should quote me on that. It's a different ball game. You need to have very important, a website, or if I could say a landing page where somebody lands on the internet, written with what you're providing them in mind. Then you should also have your social media platforms. This can 10 times your effort because a lot of people hang out on social media. They hang out on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on you name it, Instagram, on several places. Then you should also have invoicing software. We have www.waveapps.com. This makes your invoice. If someone says, okay, create an invoice for me, this makes your invoice very professional, and it's a very easy to use tool. We'll learn more about this in details with the masterclass. Then you should have your smartphone. You should have internet. You should have an organizer. It could be a book, that you write in, or an app. There are several apps out there that you could make use of. Then you could have a small office or a home office, whichever one works best. Why a small office? Why a home office? Because you're just starting out, in your business. So you don't want to carry the load of a high rent. I remember a friend that told me, oh, my office, I pay 10 million per annum, for the space. And then she makes clothes. I asked her quickly, so how many clothes do you make in a month? She told me the figure, and when I times it by 12, even in her most busiest month, she's not covering it. So there is no point going to pay so much for an office space, especially when the business is still growing. So these are basic tools you would need. If you have more tools that you use currently, you can share in the WhatsApp group. So let's go to the juicy stuff. How do you promote your service and get your first set of 100 paying clients in 60 days or less? You need to have a marketing plan, and you need to really be serious with the plan. How do you start the marketing plan? You could start it informally with these ideas that we are giving here. There are several marketing templates you can also find when you do a Google search. And if you follow it consistently, you will create results. In fact, most people, because of not being consistent, they don't have because you can't have the result you did not work for. So these are like steps you can use and get the right results. So offer pro bono services, maybe to first 10 people to contact you. You could use it as a game every other month. Okay, so first 10 people to contact me for this, I will offer. Maybe you could offer, if it's a dry cleaning outfit, you could offer to, wash an abada, like we call it in Nigeria, for them. wash one abada for them and let them, tell about your service to their friends and so on. So if you make use of, fastest finger strategy, and then 30 people respond, take out the first 10 and then give them the free pro bono service. This is just an idea. And then when you're done with that, create testimonials out of it. Tell them, okay, so what did you think about this service? And then you can create a picture portfolio out of it. I see a lot of people do that on Instagram, on Facebook and all that. And it really, really helps because it's telling someone that, yes, for real, this person really can do this service for me. And then the next one could be an ethical bribe. You offer them an ethical bribe to get them into your email list. We'll talk about the email list in details with the masterclass. So what can you give people? A free audio, a free video like I'm doing, a free checklist. You could even create a challenge. Think of a challenge. Maybe I want to lose 10 kg by Easter, and you could create that challenge if you're into fitness, weight loss, and get a lot of people into your email list. And then from there, you can grow your business. Then next, you need to tell your warm audience about your business. Create a phone log. The phone is not dead. Don't breathe the internet. You can also make use of your phone. You can also go, physically to places as well to talk about the new business that you've created. So create a phone log, share your website address, even on Facebook pages, on groups, especially when they say, people can share their addresses, people can share their social platforms and so on. Please do that, and you will find out that, you're getting a lot of people into your database, because you need a database to create traction in your business. Then next, let's look at creating a business blog. Blogging is still very important, and it's still very helpful, for businesses, because there you share your story. There you connect with your audience, you engage with your audience. You could blog, 3 times a week, 3 times in 2 weeks, 10 times in a month. It all depends on you. But if you're blogging, you just need to be consistent. There are so many blogging applications out there, blogger.com, wordpress.com. And if you want to learn more, in that masterclass, we'll also talk about it. Then you create a newsletter, around your business. Like we have the month of March approaching. You could create month of March newsletter and highlight what you want to do for the month to your audience. And you deliver this using email service providers. There are several out there. There is MailChimp, there is ConvertKit, there is MadMimi, there is GetResponse, Aweber. The list is really many. But you choose the one that you're comfortable with. And then you could also offer people 15 minutes free discovery sessions, especially if you're starting out and they really don't know what you're offering, and you're maybe in the line of you're into consulting, you're into coaching, you're into training. You could offer them a free discovery session where you discover whether 2 of you could work together, and you can make use of this tool called Calendly.com. Very exceptional tool, and it's free. So what are you waiting for? Then give a reward for referrals that come to you. Tell people, if you refer someone to me, I will give you 5% of, whatever they pay, and then you could even create a card where they can list the people, and, you can get them rewarded for the referrals. You could also automate this process. There are so many applications out there that can help you. Next, you could think of creating groups on Facebook or any other platform where your target audience hangs out. Why do you need to create groups? Because people enjoy being in communities. And if you can nurture your community, I'm sure you're part of a group somewhere on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. If you can nurture your audience, People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you can nurture them, they will definitely buy from you one day. Then set up your content, you know, every month have a plan for social media content, for email, for your blog, you know, and so on. We have a helpful download that we can share with you. It's our monthly content editorial calendar, and it's available for a token of 1,000 naira as a download. So when you get this editorial calendar, it will lead you into thinking through the different types and forms of content you can create for your audience to keep them engaged, to entertain them, to educate them about your service, and definitely, if you're consistent, they would buy from you. So what next? Someone would ask. We've come to the close of the 2-day course. So the next thing is the masterclass. If you really want to, you know, put in some time into really learning how to set up your own business, we have a masterclass where we'll talk in depth about so many things we've covered so far and some that we would still cover. We'll deliver this through an online school, and it will be delivered as a live video. It will be delivered as an audio. It will be delivered as a PDF, and would have interactions in a special closed WhatsApp group. So we hope you would be able to join us. What would you learn? Module 1, 60 days before you set out to creating your business. You want to do market intelligence. You want to create your USP, your pitch. You want to get funds. You want to get partners. 60 days before you set out on a business. So we'll guide you on what to do in this line. Then module 2, 50 days before, we want to talk about creating structure around your business, creating and managing your team, managing your finances, managing stakeholders, managing risks. We'll talk about all of that in module 2. In module 3, we'll be looking at 40 days before you launch your business. We'll talk about creating online visibility. We'll go in depth to designing your sales funnel. We'll create your communities. We'll help you create your communities. We'll talk about what to do with these communities. We'll help you look at your products and services. We'll talk about creating your ethical bribes. We also call them lead magnets. We'll talk about them in depth in module 3. In module 4, 30 days before, we'll look at your tech setup, the steps to easily set up your cloud storage, your email platform. We'll talk about creating your own graphics by yourself, your landing page. We'll talk about creating them. We'll talk about setting up your SMS platforms, your invoicing applications, etc. Then module 5, that's the last module. We'll talk about 20 days before launching your business. We'll look at planning for a business launch event. We'll look at how you can 10 times your productivity. We'll look at how you can measure your growth. We'll look at a concept called growth hacking, so that you don't just work within a particular geographical space, you can move into other spaces and go global. When will this course happen? It will happen from March 27th to 31st. March 27th to 31st. The course will be available for 100 days. It could also be available for longer on request. We have course materials, like I said earlier, videos, audios, course slides in PDF so that you keep them for yourself, worksheets, question and answer sessions, which we'll do through online chats, you know, where you can ask personal questions, one-on-one support in case you have any challenge, you know, carrying out any of the tasks towards launching your business. This course has been hugely subsidized. The cost is 10,000 naira. The class size will be 30 persons per batch. Once we hit the number 30, we'll cut off on registration till another time. For early birds, you can pay 9,000 on or before March 13th, 2017. The payment plan, you can pay in parts. Part payments are acceptable, but you need to ask us for the banking detail. If you're going to make full payments, you could enjoy the early bird discount. You can pre-register for this masterclass with the link that is shown, https://google/ESSQJJ. So that's the link for registration. We want to welcome as many of you as possible into the March edition. And I trust that at the end, you will be able to launch out on your own, running your own business, being your own boss. So there we go with day 2's presentation. But before I wrap up, I want to talk about the question and answer session that we'll have on our Facebook group. You can find the Facebook group here, www.facebook.com/groups/SproutBizAccelerator. And we'll have this on Tuesday, 28th February at 5 p.m. West African time. Thank you so much for your time. In the group, we would want you, in the WhatsApp group, we want you to share with us, your target audience for your business, and let's look at it closely together. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you.